Hello, math students. You're here again to learn something. Well, actually, just review something, in this case from Algebra 1. You guys know how to do the distributive property. You guys know how to simplify and combine like terms. So this should be easy peasy. I'm looking forward to it. So let's get right to it. All right, distributive property is where you multiply the number that's on the outside of the parenthesis into the inside. Now, this problem starts right off the bat here being a little tricky because it sure is tempting to do 3 plus 2. But remember, order of operations, you always have to multiply before you would add or subtract. So I'm going to take this 2 and I'm going to multiply it in here. So we get 8x, because 2 times 4x is 8x. And then 2 times negative 1, positive 2 times negative 1 gives you negative 2. So this whole region right here is 8x minus 2. Now I'm going to bring down the 3. I'm going to bring down the negative 1 for part 2 in this. Now what you do is you scan through the whole thing and you look for like terms. Let me highlight. I see a number here that's positive 3. I see a number here, a negative 2, and a number here, a negative 1. Remember, I don't really see subtraction. I just see positives and negatives that are working together, battling it out. So in that regard, I see 3 negatives sitting there, negative 3. And then this positive out front, what happens when a positive 3 enters the room from this way and then a negative 3 enters from this way? What happens? They just they they nuke each other. They're gone. These guys cancel. So the final answer is this term here that's left, 8x. So what we just did is we did the distributive property and then we simplified, often by combining like terms. Let's try another because this is so much fun. Okay, we have a couple different sets of parentheses, and when you have parentheses, you want to jump inside and battle your way out. So what I mean by that is we are going to wait to do this outside thing until we deal with everything on the inside right in here. So on the inside where I've labeled in red, we want to take this 3 and multiply it in. So 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. And then we have this plus 5. It's just waiting its turn, right? Order of operations. And then this 3 right here, or negative 3, needs to come down right there. So I'm going to put that right there. And then the 2 is also waiting its turn. Remember, we can't do 2 minus 3. Why not? Why can't we do it? Right. Order of operations. Order of operations. 2. It's not 2 minus 3. Okay, it's 2, and then we have to take the negative 3 and apply it in. But first I'm going to simplify this 6x minus 2 because negative 3 and 5 makes negative, or positive 2, sorry, positive 2. Okay, now we're getting closer. We can't do 2 minus 3. Remember, we already said, so don't try because you can't do it. Negative is going to get multiplied. Here we get negative 18x minus 6. And boys 2 is just waiting patiently until the very end here. See, the numbers are my friends, so talk to them like they're my friends. So the 2 has been waiting very patiently. And now we're going to throw it in a room with negative 6 because they are like terms. So we get negative 4 out of those two. So the final answer would be negative 18x, negative 4, 18x minus 4. There you have it. We did the distributive property, started on the inside, and we multiplied and multiplied, and that gave the 6x minus 3. Then 5 that we carried down finally merged with that negative 3, and that gives us positive 2. Now remember, we're battling our way out. So now the negative 3 is next on the list, and it gets multiplied, and that's where we got the negative 18x minus 6. All right, and I'm actually So then we took the 2 and the -6 and got our -4, and I didn't let any minus signs. I was real careful along the way. Okay, let's on. All right, so why don't you pause the video at point and try this one at home on your own. Okay, so pause. 3, 2, 1, pause. Try it. Pause it. Pause it. Oh, okay, great. Here we go. We'll take this negative because that's the thing that's attached to this parenthesis right there. We're going to multiply this -4 in there. We get -24 plus 2x because a negative to negative is a positive. Now the 2x is, again, waiting its turn. And at this point, you combine like terms. 2x and 12x gives you 4x, and the -20 is still there. I haven't said this today, but those are not like terms, okay? You don't get -10z. All right, we 14x, we got 14 groups of x, and we've got these -24 hanging. Remember the very first section, we did the whole apples and baskets thing? All right, we 14 baskets here, and then we got 24 red apples because they're negative. All right, that's all we can say. 14 baskets and 20 apples. Let's move on. Okay, order of operations, So if it has to do with order of operations, what do we need to do first? Right. Look inside the parentheses, see if there's anything we do. Well, it turns out those are like terms. So we have -2 on the inside. All right, we got -2 on the inside, and I have an exponent that I'm going to deal with. So I asked myself, what was the base? And the base, it turns out, is -2. Simplify it. So now we can do the -2 squared. This right here is 4. All right, so then I catch up all the other stuff. Still have a -3x and still have a 5x. So does that mean we have 2x? No, why not? Because we have to multiply first. 5x minus 12x. Whoa, where did the 12 come from? These guys right here. The final answer would be -7x. -7x is the answer. Hopefully you got that. All right, let's back up some more or move on down here. Simplify. Okay, sound fun. So we do see a fraction, so we need to first of all not panic. That's the first thing that students all do is they panic, freak out, and they just give up and mark, I don't know, IDK on this one. We can do this. I'm going to do the distributive property on the top, and 5x minus 10. I'm just rewrite the whole rest of the problem. But I am going to do one thing at this point because it'll save some space. In order to add fractions, you have to have a common denominator, and currently this is 1/1. Right? We need a denominator of a 3 over here, so we're going to multiply the bottom and top of that fraction by 3. Perfectly good move. We've still got +1. This at the end is still +1. It's written as 3 divided by 3. Right, so if you're not sure, go back and listen to what I just said a second or third time. You need a common denominator to add fractions, so I made it happen. All right, now we're going to simplify things. We've got 5x minus 13 over 3 plus 3 over 3. Now, I already set up with common denominator, so I'm good to go here with these fractions. So you add the top, and you get 5x minus 10. Where did minus 10 come from? Where did minus 10? It's the -13 and positive, that gave -10. And then what do I do with the denominators? We don't add them. I hope you didn't do that. They stay the same. All right, if you take a quarter and you add a quarter, you got 2 quarters. You don't have 2/8. All right, makes sense? 1 quarter is 2. quarters. The denominator stays the same. That's your answer. The best we can do right here. Sweet. All right, we got one. Oh my Lord, there are all these fractions. All right. Hey, no, don't the video now, just because, you see a fraction. We could do this. Like this. Now, in order to multiply fractions, by the way, you multiply just straight across. You don't need common denominators. So when I do the distributive property, I'm going to think about these whole numbers as being over 1. So I take 2 times 6x, I get 12x. I take 3 times 1, and I get over 3. Was the first arrow there. Now we're going to do the next arrow, which is 2/3 times 3 over 1, negative actually. So 2 times -3 is -6 over, I'm going to put the minus sign out, maybe that'll be less confusing, over, and 3 times 1 is 3. Oops, 3. Great. Okay, take a breath. Whew, we did it. Now for the second half, part 2. Oh my Lord. Put those whole numbers over 1 so that we can take 1 times 36, and we get 36x over 6 minus, then 1 times -18, -18. So I'm going to put my 18 on the top because I already got the minus sign there. I didn't want to put it there twice. And then over 6. All right, we're making good headway here, folks, believe it or not. Now, in order to add fractions, you have to have common denominators. So I have lots of positives and negatives. It's ready to combine. So actually, now that I look at this, we don't even need to go. I was going to convert, what I was thinking I was going to do is convert these to sixths, and then I could add. But you know what? All of these simplify. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 36 divided by 6 is 6. And 18 divided by 6 is 3. I now combine the like terms, and I get 10x minus 5. So I didn't need to do the whole common denominator there. It worked out beautifully without having to do that. See, we made it through it. We're all still alive. Maybe we learned some, maybe we didn't. Hopefully we did. Okay, if you didn't learn anything, what could you do? Well, go back and rewind and put your phone down and listen this time and try to understand what I'm talking about. And who knows, maybe you might understand it. I bet you can. I have every faith in you, actually. I'm just being goofy. All right, good luck, guys. It was fun reviewing distributed property and combining like terms with you with a little twist of going over some fraction arithmetic because that never hurts. All right, good luck, guys.